Breakups must be one of the most disrespectful, humbling, and humiliating experiences life can slap you with. And they don't always start with a fight. Sometimes they start with silence, and not the peaceful kind. The kind that slowly replaces laughter. The kind that stretches conversations thinner and thinner until all that's left are pauses that feel heavier than words. You don't notice it at first. You just feel something slipping, something quiet, something you can't quite name, but you know it doesn't feel like before. And that's the thing about endings. They don't arrive all at once. They leak in slowly. A delayed reply here, a forced smile there. The way their voice loses warmth without changing volume. The way I love you starts to sound more like habit than truth. You're standing in the same place, looking at the same person, but something essential is already gone. And the worst part, you can feel it leaving, but you cannot stop it. So you try to be better, softer, easier to love. You replay your words before you say them. You shrink parts of yourself just to keep the peace. You convince yourself that if you just hold on a little tighter, everything will go back to how it was. But it never does. Because the truth is, some relationships don't end when people walk away. They end long before that, quietly, invisibly, while both people are still holding on to what it used to be. And when it finally happens, when the words are said, when the line is drawn, it doesn't feel like a moment, it feels like collapse. Not just of the relationship, but of the version of you that existed inside of it. All the routines disappear, the small unspoken certainties, the feeling that somewhere, someone knew you in a way that the world didn't. Gone, just like that, and you're left alone with echoes, memories that feel too real to be over, but too distant to bring back. And for some people, it goes deeper than sadness. It turns into something darker, the kind of pain that doesn't just sit in your chest, it spreads. It fills the quiet moments. It makes your own thoughts feel loud, intrusive, relentless. You start questioning everything, your worth, your value, why you weren't enough. And when those questions don't have answers, your mind starts creating its own. It creates answers that can lead to self-harm. They can lead to depression that drains the color out of everything. They can even lead people to thoughts of suicide or even doing it. Not because someone is weak, but because the mind, when overwhelmed and alone, can turn against itself. It isolates you. It convinces you that no one would understand, that reaching out won't help you, that you just have to sit with it. And in that isolation, everything intensifies. And now, I'll let someone speak for their experience.
Hi, my name is Aesrik, and I was recently dumped by a longtime girlfriend. I just want to take some time to discuss the relationship and how I process the aftermath in hopes of helping someone in a similar situation. I want to clarify that she nor I ever cheated or anything along those lines. I have no ill will towards her and vice versa as far as I know. Before I get into the juice of it, I'll give a little context to the relationship itself. I met my ex-girlfriend during my senior year of high school in my English class. We didn't talk throughout the year, but on the last day of school, she asked a mutual friend for my phone number. Over that summer, we grew very close. If we weren't together physically, we would be on FaceTime or texting, and any free time I had, I wanted to spend with her. It was a good 4 months, but that next fall, I went away to college, and it certainly put a strain on our relationship, but we pulled through. For personal and financial reasons, I dropped out of college after 1 semester and came back home. Initially, we picked up where we left off, and things were going well. But one day she told me she didn't feel the same way anymore, that she didn't look at me the same way that I looked at her. It was confusing because to me there was no other way I felt about her. I won't get into the specifics, but she was unhappy. Over the course of the next 3.5 years, we were very on again, off again. Sometimes it felt like she still had feelings for me, but other times it felt like she wanted nothing to do with me. About 4 months ago, she decided enough was enough. So we cut things off, and I was miserable. It was a confusing time period because a part of me held resentment towards her, but the other part of me longed to be with her. She was the focal point of my thoughts, and it felt like whatever I tried to do didn't help clear that. I would drive past restaurants we ate at or see TV shows we watched. It was like at every turn she found her way into my head. I would often ask myself why it wasn't enough, why I didn't do things the right way, why I didn't say the thing I wanted to say when I had the chance. I was tormenting myself, and I didn't even fully recognize it. I felt like second place to someone that didn't exist. I went the whole 9 yards with unrequited love, and it sucked. But there was light at the end of the tunnel. One point I want to discuss is change. Change is one of the few things that I think every single human being on the planet has in common with one another. We're all in a perpetual state of change, for better or worse, and I think realizing that is what really started my process of moving on. Ideally, couples grow and change together as their paths become more aligned, but that isn't always how it is, and sometimes people's paths split. I learned a lot of things about myself that I wouldn't have had we not broken up, and I am better now because of it. I don't regret falling in love with her just because it didn't go as I initially planned. Something isn't beautiful because it lasts, and I think coming to terms with that has been immensely helpful for me. I'll always cherish the time I got to spend with her, but it is no longer the focus of my consciousness. The other point I want to discuss is self-improvement. When you spend so much of your time with another person and then that person is gone, you end up with a lot of free time. And for a while, I wasn't sure how to fill that. I started doing things I didn't normally do, like reading or exercising, and in trying those things, I began to find myself. I started a mold of the person I wanted to be instead of fantasizing about it. The best advice I can give for self-improvement is to try new things, but also give yourself credit for where you're at. Taking small wins wherever you can get them. Things like making your bed or brushing your teeth. Congratulating myself for those simple, mundane things is how I began to love myself. Viewing the mundane as wins started stacking, and slowly but surely I started feeling better and better. Being kind to yourself is easier said than done, believe me. I definitely still have a long way to go, but I'm much more content with my life now than I was 2 months ago. Ultimately, it is just a part of life, and accepting the ebb and flow of it is the only way to be at peace within yourself. She is who she is, she's on her own path, and I am who I am. It didn't work out for us, but we both learned things about ourselves from sharing that experience that we wouldn't have known otherwise, and we're both better off because of it.